CR21. Let's remind you guys of the laws of exponents. Here's our product rule. So a to the m times a to the n. Notice they have the same base, a to the m plus n. For example, 2 to the fifth times 2 to the third would be 2 to the eighth, right? Because there's 5 2's here. And then 2 to the third, there's 3 more 2's. So how many do you have total? 8 2's, right? So that's the product rule for exponents. Of course, they have to have the same base. So for this one, we would have 2 plus 8 plus 5, so 7 to the 13th would be our exponential notation for that one. This one, notice there's no exponent here, so it's a 3 to the 1. So 3 to the 1 plus 3, so 3 to the 4th on that. Now the base here is x, so we can go ahead, since they're the same base, we could write that as x to the 14th. And then you guys go ahead and type in what that would be right there for the next one. Yeah, Megan pointed out I screwed this up. I'm sorry, guys. 2 plus 8 plus 5 is not 13. That is 15. Thanks. Sorry about that. But yeah, go ahead and check yourself on this. Looks like you guys are good with the 5 plus 7 plus this 3 would be 12 plus 3, 15. So good work on that. Now the quotient rule. So the quotient rule says if I'm dividing, a to the m over a to the n, this is the same as a to the m minus n. For example, let's say we have 2 to the 5th over 2 squared. Let's write out what this means. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. On the bottom I have 2 times 2. Notice 2 over 2 is 1. This just happens or ends up with 3 2's on the top, so 2 to the 3rd. Well, let's use the rule now. If I use the rule, 2 to the 5th over 2 squared, it's 2 to the 5 minus 2, 2 to the 3rd, right? So you could use the rule here as well, right? So 7 to the 10. 10 sevens on the top, 7 sevens on the bottom. So I have 3 sevens on the top left over. This one's got 4 6's on the top, 1 on the bottom. I'm left with 3 6's on the top. You guys go ahead and type in what this one would be. In fact, do those next two there. And last one here, we got 37 minus 14. So it looks like we got, what's that, 23? All right, here's the power rule, power of a power. So a to the m times n. So let me give you an example of this. Let's say we have 2 squared to the 3rd. This means I have 3 2 squareds. So I have how many 2's total? I have 6 of them, right? In other words, you can just multiply that. Multiply the exponents, so 2 to the 6, right? That's a shorter way to get to there. So power of a power, I can go ahead and multiply those. 4 to the 42th, instead of writing out 42 4's, right? Power of a power. So power of a power. And so on. Lastly, this one would be 72. And then 11 times 10 was 110. Okay, any issues on that, you guys? We're working with positive exponents this section. Now, how about a power of a product? This is called power of a product. So if a times b to the n, let me give you an example. 2 times 3 to the 2nd. That's the same as, I know that's 6 squared or 36, but it's also the same as 2 being squared, 3 being squared. In other words, 4 times 9. See how either way it's 36, right? So this product holds. It's called the power of a product. So for this one, we would have negative 2x to the 8th. That's negative 2 to the 8th, x to the 8th. And then you take that -2 to the 8th, and you get 256. This next one we would get -3 to the 4th, x to the 4th. So -3 to the 4th would give us 81 x to the 4th. You guys go ahead and do that next one right there, -4x to the 3rd. Go ahead and just type it in. This is 64, right? And 0 exponents. Anything to the 0 power, like 2 to the 0, would be 1. Let me show you. Maybe you can kind of see that. You know, if we have like 2 to the 5th, that's 32, right? 2 to the 4th, 16. 2 to the 3rd is 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the 1 is 2. 2 to the 0. Do you notice each time I go from here to here, I'm dividing by 2. 32 divided by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. All right, so anything is 0 power, any number to the 0 power is 1. So 9 to the 0, what is it? 1. Anything 0 power, 1. Anything to the 0 power, 1. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and simplify some more complex ones here. I have a power of a product, so I'm going to take each of those 2 to the 7th. X to the 3rd is to the 7th. Y is to the 7th. And then 2 to the 7th gives us 128. Power of a power, I'm going to multiply those. Let's do this one together, and then we'll move into quotients here. X to the 0. What does x to the 0 give us? Anything to the 0. So I'm going to take, so we said that anything to the 0 is 1. So I got 3 times 1. I got y to the 4th. And then this is all squared. Well, 3 times 1, of course, is 3. And now I got a power of a product. So I got 3 squared. I got y to the 4th being squared. So we got 9y to the 8th on that, right? Power of a power. Make sure you multiply those. All right, power of a quotient. Power of a quotient. So a over b to the n, like 2 over 3 squared is the same as 2 squared over 3 squared. 4/9, right? And let's do it this way. 2/3 squared is the same as 2/3, 2 of those 2/3, right? See how they're both 4/9? So that's why. Anyway, so that thing works right there. So we could go, this could be 12 squared over 5 squared, or 144 over 25. Make sure you write that in simplest form. This one would be 1 to the 5th over 3 to the 5th. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 would be 1, of course, and 3 to the 5th is 243. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 243. Anything to the 0 power, oops, you can't even see that. This to the 0 is 1, so they still have the negative out there. So this just ends up being -1 on that. And let's do a few more, and then we'll call it good here. 6x to the 3rd over 7y to the 5th. This is all quantities squared. So I have the top is going squared. The bottom is also being squared. And then that's a power of a product. So 6 is squared. X to the 3rd is squared. And then the 7 is squared. Y to the 5th is squared. So 6 squared, 36. And the power of a power, I'm going to multiply those. 7 squared, we got 49. Power of a power, I'm going to multiply those. Make sure you're in simplest form there, lowest form. All right. Let me have you guys try this one. Check yourself on that one. That should be good for getting you started. Thanks for watching. See you next time.